Hi, I'm Glo and welcome to Glo's Kinder Kitchen. Well, today I wanted to share with you a very easy recipe that I have been making for several years, and it's called Easy Freezer Pickles. And it's easy and everybody likes it. It makes a great gift to give someone. And the main thing is you do need to have a little room in your freezer for them, but it's well worth it. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started.
Are these sweet pickles?
Yes, that's a great question. These remind me of a bread and butter pickle, but up about 10 points. People, when they try these, they're just like, oh my gosh, how come I have never tasted this before? And the only thing I can think of is I have never seen these sold in the grocery stores in the freezer section. It's like tasting a fresh pickle that's been pickled but not overdone. It's not cooked. They are just superb. It's very refreshing. So I've got this recipe, and I'm not even sure if I got, well, it says 2017 where I printed it, but I've had that before now. But it's just called Easy Freezer Pickles. The first time I was introduced to this recipe was from an old coworker of mine, and he had brought some in, and they were so good, and he said his family had been making them for years. But anyway, I'm going to go over the recipe, and then we're going to get started together. And it's usually stuff that you have on hand in your pantry. There's sugar, and there's 2 cups of white sugar. And then there is the cucumbers, there's onions, there's salt, there's vinegar, celery seed, and there's turmeric, and then there's mustard seed, and salt, and onions, and then the pickles. So to get started, this recipe calls for 8 pounds of pickles. So I bought these cucumbers yesterday at the Asheville Farmers Market, and they're beautiful. So to figure out how many pounds I have here, I measured my bowl first. I weighed that. My bowl weighs 5 pounds. So I'm going to need 13 pounds total here. So I've got this old scale that was my parents' from years ago. I'm just going to show you, make sure I have it centered. I need 13 pounds. There you go, 13 pounds. So I'm going to go ahead and remove this off of here. Just going to slide my scale back.
Please do before it falls off.
Yeah. And so the next step in doing this process is you want to wash your pickles. So I have just a sink full of cold water here. So I'm going to put all these pickles in here, and it's just water.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and wash them with a scrub brush. And then I'll put them back in my bowl, and then we'll go on to the next step. But you don't need to really watch how I'm doing that. You just scrub them. You just want to make sure you get all the dirt off of them.
That's not the brush I use on my car tires, is it?
You better not use this brush on your car tires.
I got a bigger
one.
one.
This is made from palm leaves.
Cool.
And I love it. So anyway,
All right,
I'll be back in just a little bit, and we're going to go on to the next step. Okay, so now it's time to go ahead and slice. So I use a mandolin because you can use your food processor as well. But with my food processor, to put them in through the food processor top, that little chute, my cucumbers were a little too wide. Yes, I could have cut them in half and had not a problem, but I have this mandolin, so I use this quite often as well. And so I find I started this, but I wanted to show you, I find when I use a mandolin, I like it to go on a slant. It works easier for me. And when you get down towards the end, you use this. Mine has arrows to show which way to put it on to go down. The reason why you use this gadget at the end, towards the end, is if you don't and you slice here down by your fingers.
Goodbye fingertips.
Yeah. There's been some really bad accidents using a mandolin if you don't take the precautions. So in here you can see where I already went ahead and sliced one. And the reason I did that before you came on, I wanted to make sure I had the right amount of depth
right
set on here for this. And this is perfect for me. See? You want them thin. You can go thinner if you want, but that's usually what I do, about that thickness. So when I do this, you just set it on here like this, and you go like that. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to slice this. When I get down towards the end though, I'm going to bring you back so that you can see me attach this so you can see how it works. I'll be right back. Okay, so you can see how I got down here close to the end. I don't let it get down any further than this, just for safety. So what I do is I take this. This has some really sharp teeth in it. So I just press down on it like that to make sure it's adhered into it good. And then I just continue. Got to make sure it's on there good. When it gets down to that, you don't want that. So I just put that in my like garbage bowl or whatever you have. We'll be putting this outside at the end. But anyway, I have, as you can see, a few more here to do, and then I'll also do onions, and I'll show you how I do the onions when I get to that. It's just like the cucumbers. So anyway, I'll be back in just a little while.
Sounds good, Miss Chloe.
Okay, so I have, gone ahead and done everything on my mandolin except for this last part of this red onion. And I'm down to the part where I feel like, to be safe, I need to use my guard. So I'm going to go ahead and put that on here and then just start going down like this.
Cross the blade.
Yep. So the main thing is you want to protect your hands. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this, and then I'll come back and I'm going to show you the next step. Well, look at all these cucumbers. So this bowl obviously wasn't going to hold all of this, and this is a bowl that it's stainless steel, and I got it from a restaurant supply store here locally. And it has come in handy for so many things. Even for large parties, you can put salad in here. I use it for all kinds of stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and put the rest. See, here's the white or the yellow onion and the red. The original recipe I had does not call for red onion, but I think it's very pretty in it. If you like a lot of onion, by all means add more. We love onion, but I'm not going to put as much as sometimes I do, simply because I'm using this as some of this as gifts, and I don't know how many people really like a lot of onion. So after you do this, and of course you can make a smaller batch if you want. I take 3 tablespoons of sea salt, and I just put that in here. And I'm just going to stir this up. This needs to set for 3 hours. And at the end of the 3 hours, we're going to rinse and drain it. And then we're going to be putting the sugar vinegar mixture on it that has the spices. So I'm going to go ahead and continue to mix this up. And then I'm going to come back with you, and we're going to mix up the sauce or the vinegar solution that's going to go on this together. And that's going to set for about 2 hours. So anyway, I'll be back in just a few minutes. Okay, so now I've got this, the cucumbers and onions with the salt here setting. It's been in here probably 10-15 minutes so far. It's got to go for 3 hours. And then after that, we're going to rinse this really well and drain it. But in the meantime, I have 4 cups of sugar in here, white sugar. And to that, I'm adding 1 teaspoon of mustard seed, 1 teaspoon of turmeric powder, and then 1 teaspoon of celery seed. That's what goes in your bread and butter pickles. So then I'm going to mix this up. I've just, for myself, I seem like, and I may be wrong about it, but by mixing this up first before adding the vinegar, I think it gets mixed together a little bit better. Nothing gets clumped up that way. If you've never used celery seed before, I highly recommend it. It's healthy, but it's delicious, like in meatloafs, meatballs. You can make your own V8 juice with the celery seed. That and tomato juice makes it like a V8 juice. It's delicious. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and put 2 cups of white vinegar into this. I'm just going to stir this up. Isn't that a pretty color?
So pretty, so pretty.
My Auntie Jo, she made the best bread and butter pickles I think I've ever had that were canned. They are pickled. They were so good. Well, I always enjoyed going to her house and getting those. She also canned beef, which was excellent. I've never done that, but guess what? I'm going to learn how to do that.
Okay.
She was a really good cook. Still is, I'm sure. I bet you put her back in the kitchen and she would do circles around us.
Like the circles you're doing in the bowl.
Yeah, you're right. So anyway, I'm going to let this set here, and then every like 20 minutes or a half hour, I'm going to come back and I'll just stir it up. So in the meantime, this is going to take a total of like 3 hours to get this all done, because I'll come back to show you how I rinse this and drain it. But I'm going to be cleaning up my mess over here and getting ready to complete this. And I also have my jars in the dishwasher. I've washed those, but I don't need to use brand new canning lids with this, because we're not processing it. It's just going to go in the freezer. So you just need a used lid if you have it, or a new lid, and then a ring. But I'll be back and we're going to go on to the next step. Well, it's been about 2 hours, and I've been stirring this like every 20 minutes to a half an hour. And you can see how the water has come off of the cucumbers into the bottom.
Right.
We have another hour to go, and then we're going to be draining that into our colander and rinsing it well, so that we can put it in our jars. And here is the vinegar and sugar solution with the mustard seed and the celery seed in it. And what was the other thing we put in that? Oh, turmeric. How could I forget that? That is a very
color.
important spice to put in this. So I've been stirring this as well for every 20 minutes to a half hour. And the sugar and this is pretty much dissolved now, but I'll still be doing that for another hour to make sure everything is really well combined. So anyway, I'll be back in about an hour with you guys, and we're going to put this in our jars and get it ready to put in the freezer. Well, now it's time to drain our pickles and to rinse them really well. So I went ahead and brought my pan over here, and I have my colander here. So what I do, because this is kind of heavy, is I just take them and put them over here.
Okay.
So I'm going to continue to do that, but look at all that water that salt took out of there.
Yep.
Isn't that something? So I'm going to go ahead and continue on with this, and I'll be back after I get them all in here, and we're going to rinse them and let them drain, and then we're going to go on to the next one. Well, here I am rinsing. I already rinsed these and they're draining. Now we're rinsing these. Let me just rinse off my spoon. And I find what helps too with this is to just kind of do this. Now when you're using a strainer like this, be careful because it can tip easily. This one not so much, but this one will. I can see some experience on that. I have wasted stuff because I haven't been careful with that tipping. So I don't want that to happen to you. So anyway, I'm going to let this continue to drain, and then I'll be back, and then we're going to be putting the vinegar and the sugar on that with the spices. So I'll be right back. Well, these have drained now, so I'm going to go ahead and put them back in this bowl. I did wash and rinse out this bowl, and I can actually just use this, because we're going to be putting that vinegar mixture in here in just a moment. So here's the other one we drained. There we go. Isn't that pretty?
So pretty, so pretty.
So now I'm going to go ahead and pour this vinegar and sugar mixture in here with the celery seed and the turmeric and the mustard seed. I'll get a spatula. So we don't want to waste any of this yummy stuff. There we go. So I'm going to go ahead and mix this all together. I'm going to let it set for about 5 minutes, and we'll be back, and we're going to be putting it in our jars so we can put this in the freezer. All right, well now it's time to go ahead and fill our jars. So I got to tell you, this smells really good. See, this is all there is to it. You want to leave a 1-inch headspace for expansion, otherwise your jar is going to explode or crack. I shouldn't say explode, but crack. So I'm going to go ahead and fill these up, and then the juice will go ahead and we'll fill afterwards. But you see how we did that? And we'll be right back after I fill the rest of these, and we'll see how many we get.
Okay.
Well, I got them all the jars filled. Remember, you want to leave at least 1 inch of headspace. So you never want to go above this bottom ring. Okay?
Right.
This one's not completely filled, but it's fine. So what you do is I took a little white vinegar and I put it in this little dish. I'm just dabbing this paper towel. And what I'm going to do is go around each rim. And what that does is it cleans off any residue that may be on there. And especially like something like this, it could be sticky. So then you just take your top, and then you take one of your rings, and you screw it on. Simple as that. And then I'll label these to say what's in these. And then I'll be putting these in my freezer. These will keep, they say up to 6 weeks, but to be honest, I've had them in there up to 6 months and they're fine. And
why do they say 6 weeks then?
I don't know. That's a good question. My friend that had shared this recipe with me, he said that they keep them all year in the freezer. So, but I've had them up to 6 months and they've been fine. So, let's see how beautiful that is.
Looks good, Miss Glow.
Yeah, these are just delicious. And I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you have, and you haven't subscribed to our channel yet, please do. Give me a like, a thumbs up. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I'll be more than happy to help you. I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you later. Bye.